Want to do better? Then it's time to change the story. Welcome to our show about new visions currently transforming the world through the confluence of art, tech, and innovation. And now your hosts, Michael Ashley and Neil Sahota.
Hey everybody, we want to introduce you to Jennifer Friend from the Project Hope Alliance. We are partnering with her, Neil and I, with Changing the Story, and we're very, very proud to be part of this project right now more than ever. We need your help. We need to help our children, and so we very much are excited to bring you Jennifer and the Project Hope Alliance and see that we can do great good in the world.
Thank you. We're so grateful for this partnership. You know, in Orange County alone, there's over 28,000 children in our public education system experiencing homelessness. But we know that if we invest in our kids today, they won't be homeless tomorrow. We've really seen that there is a $264 ROI for every $100 invested at Project Hope for our programming that we're doing with our homeless children and youth.
Well, thank you for all the hard work, Jennifer. And we're running a special, I guess we'll call it contest. We're going to try and raise money for Project Hope Alliance. There's a special page on our website. Check out the note below. And please participate and please donate of yourself. Time as well as your money is always appreciated. They're always looking for skills and any kind of help they can get. And it's a really worthy cause. So thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to our latest episode of Changing the Story. Hey, I'm really excited to meet our guest today, Michael Gerber, the author of the mega-bestseller, The E-Myth Revisited, as well as 28 other business development books. Inc. has called Michael the world's #1 small business guru. So welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
Thank you for being here, Michael. As a visionary, what is the story that you want to bring to the world?
It's really very simple. Take charge of your life, create more life, but go within to discover the creator there waiting for you, and really, really frustrated that you don't get it. This is so critical for the time that are really waiting ahead of us.
I would definitely agree. I know that a lot of people right now during COVID-19 are struggling to survive, to keep the lights on. I think there's also actually a lot of unique opportunities here, that it's not a chance to just survive but thrive, to re-energize, rebuild in new and better ways. I mean, how do we get this mindset? How do we people start thinking just beyond mere survival?
Well, you've got to understand, I've been working with small business now for over 45 years. Way back in 1977, when I started my very first business development firm, the Michael Thomas Corporation. The problem was identically the same in 1977 and in 1966 and in 1932 as it is right now. Everybody is trying to keep the doors open. Everybody's always been trying to keep the doors open. And yet last year, there were over close to 600,000 small businesses that shut their doors down, and it had nothing to do with the virus. Nothing to do with the virus. Hear me. The virus is a great excuse for, holy shit, I'm in trouble. You were in trouble before the virus. You're going to certainly be in trouble after the virus. The only question is, are you going to finally wake up and discover why you're in trouble? And that's what our work has been about all these years. Why you're in trouble. Everybody's in trouble, Neil. Everybody's in trouble, Michael. Everybody's always been in trouble, in case we have been completely asleep about it. But right now, we've suddenly been locked in. And so suddenly something has taken charge of our lives when we wouldn't. Now think about that. Something has taken charge of our lives when we wouldn't. It's time. It's way past time. And that's been my message all this time. To people who would suddenly stop and listen with a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind, that there has got to be a way to approach what I do differently than the way I'm habituated to doing it. Businesses are going to go out of business, Michael. Businesses are going to go out of business, Neil. Businesses are going to shut down because they can't live without the ability to do business. And none of them know how. So now what? That's what we're here to talk about.
Exactly. So now what? What are your thoughts about what's next?
Well, I said it in the brief quote I gave you at the beginning. We have to awaken the creator within. Now, I believe in God. At times it's more difficult than other times, but I believe in God. And it said in Genesis that we were born in the image of God, that man was created in the image of God. If man is created in the image of God, it means man was created to create. And if man was created in the image of God to create, then it suggests to me that man was born to create a world fit for God. But man doesn't have a clue how to do that. And so we have an opportunity, every single human being on the planet, which is to awaken to the fact that we're born to create, and we have to learn how to do that. And I call it a blank piece of paper in beginner's mind. Marty Sklar, who was the head of Disney Imagineering, once quoted about a blank piece of paper. It's the most exciting thing he's ever had in his life. A blank piece of paper, he can put anything on that blank piece of paper he so desires. He can create a whole new world on that blank piece of paper, just like Walt Disney did every single day. That's what everybody needs to understand. We haven't been taught to create. We're here to learn how to create. That's our sole job here on this planet.
100% agree, Michael. I mean, we always talk blank piece of paper, great example. We always talk about pie in the sky, blue screen, green field, all these things. There's so many cliches for it. Why are people struggling to realize that we have these opportunities, that we can't see that blank piece of paper? We don't know we actually have it.
No, they don't. They can't stand a blank piece of paper. You understand? Most people can't stand a blank piece of paper. Show me what to do. Show me what to do. Show me what to do. But show me something I can do right now to make the money I need right now in order to cover my butt right now, because I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I need immediate gratification. So we've been fed immediate gratification in so many different ways. Immediate gratification has been automated in so many different ways. Artificial intelligence is here to provide us with immediate gratification. So we don't even have to work for a living anymore. The machines will do it. The machines will do it. The machines will do it. Guess what? When the machines will do it, what are you going to do? If you don't know how to create, if you're not an Imagineer, if you're not an entrepreneur, what in the hell are you going to do for a job? You get it?
Although, look, that's a super powerful point, because when you talk about like machines and AI, machines actually can't think like that. They can't create, they can't imagine. And we don't even know how to begin to teach that to a machine.
Don't even know how to begin.
Yeah.
Got so many clients who are saying, well, when it gets back to normal, I hate to tell you, it's never going back to normal. Ever. The normal of tomorrow is a normal unlike any normal you've grown accustomed to. You can't slip by this one, guys. You just can't. Now you've got to deal with that blank piece of paper, because if it's filled up with the stuff of the past, it's already gone. It's useless.
So okay, sorry. When you say that, that's a really interesting thing to hear. When you said that we're not going back to that normal, the first question is, what does that mean? What is the new normal to you, and how can people be creative? What are some examples you can give of someone being creative to address this new normal?
Well, very, very simple. When I say it's a new normal, we're suddenly dealing with a disease that's come out of nowhere, that effectively a virus that's come out of nowhere, that's shutting everything down. Now understand, it's not shutting everything down. The government's shutting everything down. The government has said here in this free country of ours, you can't leave your house. The government has said you can't leave your house. Now, who gave the government the right to say, I can't leave my house? Well, their presumed right to protect everybody else should I leave my house and infect somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't even know how the hell that happens. So effectively, they said, you can't earn a living, you can't leave your house, you're going to have to do with what you got, but understand, I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got nothing to do with. So the entire story, the entire narrative is a fool's errand.
Mm-hmm.
And because the government is operated by fools, and because they're on a fool's errand, and because we're no better than they are because we elected them, then effectively we got to sit down and say, who am I? Why am I here? What is my life all about? What did it mean when those guys way back then, the founders of this country, created a country based upon, under God, free to decide, and suddenly we can't?
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we suddenly see the rules have changed.
Right.
And the rules have changed like that.
Yes.
And suddenly I'm here in my home, speaking to you there in your home or wherever the hell you are. And we're each ignoring this one absolutely unignorable fact. We have lost control of our lives. But we suddenly come to the realization we never had any. And when we come to that realization, then we've got to begin to ask the most fundamental questions anybody would ever ask. Who am I? Why am I here? What is life? What is freedom? What is America? What are we given the right to do, to think, to be, etc., and so forth? So these are outrageous questions in one respect, but they're the questions of our time. But they're the questions of the founders of this country. Nobody ever created a country like ours. Nobody. It stands alone in the world as the country it was founded to be. So all of this comes into question as we raise the question of the creator within, the entrepreneur within. When I started my company, we had a dream. We had a vision, we had a purpose, and we had a mission. People ask me what those are, and I say very, very clearly what those are. My dream at the very beginning of this, way back in 1977, was to transform the state of small business worldwide. My vision was to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting. My purpose was that every small business owner who got it could be as successful as a McDonald's franchisee. Very, very, very few businesses are as successful as a McDonald's franchisee. Forget about it, as successful as McDonald's. And my mission was to invent the business development system that made it possible for my dream, my vision, my purpose to become a reality. That's what we've been working on all these years. That's the whole intent of it. But in order to transform the state of small business worldwide, we have to transform the state of entrepreneurship worldwide. And once we've transformed the state of entrepreneurship worldwide, we then have the key to transforming the state of economic development worldwide. And imagine we could take that out to the billions of people on the planet. That's what our mission is today. To the billions of people on the planet, to discover the creator within. The creator is the Imagineer within, as Walt Disney called it. The Imagineer within is the entrepreneur within. And it all comes around, and all comes around, and all comes around to a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. Beginner's mind is the critical piece of this. It means from scratch, with nothing to fix, to create something that will provide an absolutely stunning impact on the world. I'm saying every single human being on the planet possesses the wherewithal to discover that. Our job has been to teach it, to inspire it, to train it, to coach it, to mentor it, all the language that one uses to slap somebody around the head and shoulders and say, shape up or ship out.
I think you make some really strong points. I mean, I think a lot of us, at least subconsciously, realize, look, I control this much and I can influence this much, but the rest is kind of to chance, right? To kind of unlock the creator within, the entrepreneur within, we can inspire and motivate and get help from, great people like you, Michael, but it also sounds like people have to be willing to take the first step. They have to want to do this. Is that
well? You see the thing about right now, you don't have a chance in hell to get through this without doing this. And anything you do that is devoid of this isn't worth doing anyway. And so if you look at all of the scrambling stuff that's coming up on the internet now, get yours now, get this now, do this now, all the gimmicks and tricks and everything, we fixed it for you, we fixed it for you, we fixed it for you, buy this, buy this, buy this. Every single thing you see is more of the same. It's more of the same. We're going to solve your problem for you. We're going to solve your problem for you. We're not solving the problem for him. He's going to solve the problem for him. Nobody can solve his problem for him. Nobody can solve her problem for her. She's got to. He's got to. All we can do is help them go through the process to discover how to create, how to imagine, how to do what they're so unaccustomed to doing. And as that happens, the shift inside of them is a staggering realization. It's me. I possess the ability to do those things that seemingly extraordinary people do. And the only difference between the extraordinary people and me is that they did them. They took the risk.
I think what's I find very interesting about you, Michael Gerber, is you're clearly an expert on business, you're an expert on entrepreneurship, but you're talking about something that I don't think anyone else is really talking about, which is the spiritual aspect, our higher purpose. And you talked about, who am I? That question. How do people begin to answer that question? How do people begin to go beyond the material realm, to go beyond and actually expand in all these ways that you're talking about, especially young people?
How they do it is by taking it seriously. It's the only question of any value to them. You understand? You don't do it like homework, and then you fill in the paragraph. Mm-hmm. You don't fill in the freaking paragraph. You understand? You really ask the question. Who am I? Haven't a clue. Well, yes, you do. Who are you? Well, I'm Michael E. Gerber, and I'm going on 84, and da 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 da, and it goes on and on and on and on. And the more I ask, the more I look, the more I discover, the more I discover, the more I find is tasteful. Holy shit. I'm that? Yeah, you're that. Now what? Well, then I'm speechless. Now what? Then I'm speechless. They've got to come to that speechless state. Do you understand? To come to that speechless state that isn't filled with all my blather, that isn't filled with all my habits, that isn't filled with all of my fears and all of my hopes and all of my wishes. It isn't filled with anything. It's a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. That's where all of this begins. And it begins with a conversation. So you understand it begins with a conversation with yourself and it begins with a conversation with somebody else. But you got to both be serious about it. This is a life and death conversation. This isn't about where's my milk going to come from next week. This is a life and death conversation. This is the real conversation. We're in the real conversation right now. So if somebody can't rise to the occasion of a real conversation, then it's hopeless. Hear me, hopeless. There is no salvaging them. There is no saving them because nobody can save them. We can only save ourselves. But you understand, we can only save ourselves once we understand how little we actually are. Not how big, not how strong, not how capable, etc., but how little we are. And we come face to face with that, and something shifts. And suddenly we're on real terra firma. Something shifts, and we begin an honest conversation. The kind of conversations we're having right now.
It seems like we all need to reach this cathartic moment to be willing to do that, because it's not an easy step to take, right? When we do this, we're essentially taking responsibility, ownership of not just our lives and our choices, right, without any kind of scapegoat. And I know a lot of people kind of shy away from these things, but it seems like this is kind of almost a growth moment, a moment of epiphany. I don't even know the right word to describe this, but it sounds like if we can do this, each one of us, it's a really powerful first step.
Well, it's not only that, it's essential. But nobody ever taught us that when we were children. Now understand, some did, some parents did, but more and more parents are too busy to do that. So they abdicate accountability and pass it on to the school. And the school is already dumb food fodder for stupid kids. So there is no higher education, if there ever was one. There is only more of the same. And it's preparing for a career, whatever the hell that means, preparing for a job, we know what that means, to make a living, to do what? To die. Guess what? We get to die. Anybody figure that out yet? This grand joke? So we better figure it out if any of this is going to mean anything. And if none of this means anything, then look out for what's about to happen. And I mean, look out for what's about to happen. If what I just said doesn't raise the specter of more life or less of anything we ever imagined it could be. So one more thing about it, guys. I said it earlier on that last year over 550,000 small businesses shut down their doors. That was not because of the virus. That was because of stupid. And the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that, and they're projecting an awful lot more are going to shut down their doors this year and next year. And we can say it's because of the virus. In one respect, it is. But in total respect, it's because we're stupid. So I simply want to say it's because we're stupid. And what I mean by stupid, I mean simply we aren't truly dealing with the question at hand. Why are we in business? What's the purpose of our business? What's the lifeblood of our business? What's the impact of our business on the people who work there, the people who buy there, the people who sell there, et cetera, and so forth? It's a part of my life. And if in fact it's not an important part of my life, then why am I spending so much time there? You follow me?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Well, because this show is about positive visions, and because you are laying out some very, very important things, let's go to a positive version of this. All right. Let's imagine that it is the wake-up call you're talking about, and people do take this upon themselves. They do take their accountability and responsibility that Neil mentioned, and they do these things. I want you to please paint a picture of what that looks like 5-10 years from now, in which the people around the world do wake up, they do ask these probing questions, and they do find their purpose and truly begin to create.
Well, you have to understand, I'm probably the most optimistic guy on the planet. And I say I'm the most optimistic guy on the planet simply because I know how bad it really is. And yet I persist on the path to reach a higher level with every ordinary guy in the street. I call him the smallest of the small. So I haven't gone mid-market, I haven't gone high market, I haven't gone to where the money is. I've been with the smallest of the small, the tiniest of the tiny, the little guys on the street trying to make it happen, et cetera, and so forth. And I've been speaking this message to them, which is the most positive message on the planet. You're born in the image of God. You're born to create. You're born to create a world fit for God. And every single one of you can learn what that means and learn how to do that. Every single one of you. But you've got to have the will. You've got to have the will. If you've got the will, we've got the way. Now, hear me when I say we've got the way. We've been working on that way now for over 43 years. We've been working on that way. That way today is what we call the Eightfold Path. There's a process for growing from a company of one to a company of 1,000. A company of one means every human being on earth. Every human being is a company of one because every human being is an economy of one. And so effectively, I'm saying every human being is a small business. Whether they're in business, whether they're working for McDonald's, whatever they're doing, they're in business. They're an economy. But they don't know anything about the economics of their lives. And so we're going to take them through a process that builds itself step by step by step, which requires patience. Because you're not going to get it today. I'm not going to hand you, in one fell swoop, the perfect solution to your problem today. If I did, it would be a sin. Mm-hmm. Because it would avoid addressing what actually has to happen for you to take control of your own life. And that means you have to grow into it. Everybody knows you got to grow into it. You don't become a U.S. Navy SEAL without growing into it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pain and unpleasure along the way. You understand, I'm a positive thinker. because I have this positive result in my mind, and because I've had that profound impact on countless thousands of people who were lost and hadn't a clue what to do, but they had the patience to follow through with where I led them to. There's no mystery about it. The first step is you have a dream. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, I have a dream. He spoke about his dream in Washington, D.C. to thousands upon thousands of people. I have a dream. I have a dream. Steve Jobs said, I have a dream. Walt Disney said, I have a dream. Oprah Winfrey said, I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. Very few people know what a dream really is. So we take them through the process of discovering their dream. The second step is to discover their vision. Because without a vision, the dream will never become a reality. And so in our case, the vision was to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean to turnkey the sucker, to create a system out of the sucker so that, in fact, everybody will understand what it means to begin with a dream to transform the state of whatever they're transforming worldwide. Because once you do it once, you can do it 1,000 times. Once you do it 1,000 times, you can do it 28,000 times. Once you can do it 20, you follow me. There's a logic to this. There's a logic to this, but there's a process to this. So step 1 is the dream. Step 2 is the vision. Step 3 is the purpose. Step 4 is the mission. Step 5 is the job or your client fulfillment system. Step 6 is the practice or your franchise prototype, lead generation, lead conversion, client fulfillment, your franchise prototype, your little turnkey methodology for, in fact, creating a company of one and then scaling it to a business. And a business is nothing other than up to 7 turnkey practices. And an enterprise is nothing other than up to 7 turnkey businesses. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, 5, 6, 7, boom, there you go. Everybody can do it. Now understand that takes 5 years. But by the time every single person on the planet with a business right now goes 5 years, the reality is their business will already have failed. They never would have had a dream. They never had a vision. They never had a purpose. They never had a mission. They never had a client fulfillment system. They never had a practice. They never had their franchise prototype. You understand? They'll go 5 years and they still haven't even started. So it takes patience, but it also takes forgiveness. And that means you've got to understand, you've got to forgive yourself because nobody's taught you this before. Nobody has made it their business to teach this to you before. And anybody who pretends they're in the business of teaching this to you isn't really in the business of teaching this to you. They're in the business of making money. They're in the business of making money, a clever way to make money, a clever way to make money, and a clever way to sell it. But what about you? I'm saying you're in kindergarten. So if you're in kindergarten, stupid, you've got to learn how to do what you do in kindergarten. And our kindergarten is different than any kindergarten you've ever been in. Our kindergarten is raising the dreamer to dream, the thinker to have a vision, the storyteller to have a purpose, and the leader to have a mission. And those 4 personalities make up an entrepreneur: dreamer, thinker, storyteller, and leader. So we're teaching, inspiring, training, coaching, beating him up, beating him up, beating him up. If he ever wanders, to discover the dreamer, the thinker, the storyteller, and the leader inside, and then to go to work on his company, new co and old co. And in this harmonious, quixotic, extraordinarily brilliant methodology, we suddenly realize, so that's what it means to be alive. Wow. That's what we do.
That's beautiful. And so as we get to the end of our show here, if people want to learn more about you, about what you do, in terms of they want to sign up or even find your site and you, how do they connect with you and your organization, Michael?
Well, let me tell you, and this is really, really important to our conversation. We've just made the choice to give away the first year of Radical You. Radical You is the dream, the vision, the purpose, and the mission. The first year is the dreaming room. So all anybody has to do is say, Michael, I want to join you at Radical You in the dreaming room online. And I'm going to charge them $10 for the transaction once. And they're in for a year. And then every week, a video. Every week, they're going to be talking to somebody. Every week, we're going to be staying with them, inspiring them to wake up. They've never been in a school like that in their life. It's now free, but for one $10 bill. That's all it takes, one $10 bill. And my wife and I, Delia Gerber and I, have made a commitment to give away 1 million seats in Radical U this year. 1 million seats. So everybody sitting there who absolutely wants to feel what I've just shared with you now can do it in a way it's never been available before. And that means now. And over the next 90 days, I'm going to be live every week to stimulate their imagination as they go through the process. So that's what we're doing. And they can reach me at michael@michaelegerber.com. michael@michaelegerber.com. Inundate me with requests. And I'll pass you over and you put your $10 bill down and you're in for a year. Hear me, a year, every week, faithfully, dogmatically, religiously, passionately. Talk about positive. Oh, bust my butt.
That's
All
wonderful.
right. Thanks, Michael. Hey, I think really shows that life's not a path to destination. It's really a journey to never-ending horizon. We all need Sherpers like Michael. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Oh, my delight, guys. Thank you.
Hey, if you like today's show, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment.
If you've been enjoying the Changing the Story podcast series, please subscribe and share it with your friends.
Thank you.